Hey everybody, welcome to chapter 2 of Excel. If chapter 1 was a lot for you, I want you to take a moment and go back and review. Excel sometimes can get overwhelming. At the end of the day, it is a software that will do basically anything you tell it to, as long as you tell it correctly. It's the learning how to tell it correctly that sometimes is hard. Okay? I know that sounds like a lot. It will do whatever you tell it to, but you have to tell it correctly. We are learning how to do that. And sometimes I think our book and the trainings inside of our book don't explain that very well. So I'm going to try to pause throughout this video and give a little bit of explanation the best I can. Um, we're going to go through some loan documents. We're going to go through some functions and formulas. And I hope to pause and give little insights and tidbits as I move along without taking too much time. Pause this video anytime you need to as you're working through your own chapter to make sure that you're getting through everything that you need to get through. So um, let's go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. This is chapter 2 in Excel. Working with functions and formulas. So we want to be able to build and edit formulas. Building a formula has to start with the equal sign, no matter what. It says that here, it says you learned in chapter 1 that a function is a built-in formula, like a formula but begins with the equal sign, no matter what. In order for Excel to listen to you, you have to start with the typing an equal sign, no matter what. Otherwise, it's just letters and numbers. It's not going to add them, subtract them, multiply, divide them. It's not going to do any of that until you put an equal sign in, and then it starts listening to you. So keep that in mind, okay? So let's go ahead and let's start with typing in our first formula. I don't know what cell to type it in. It doesn't tell us. Hang on. Type D5. Yeah, but where? In the current cell, wherever that is. Okay. Equals D23. Where is D23? Equals. Equals. There we go. D5 plus D12 plus D13. Hit enter. And we keep going. Input the formula in cell D24 by clicking on the required cells. So you can click on the cells or equals D6. You can manually click those cells plus D7 plus D14. And then hit enter. Let's keep going. Edit cell D20 to say D5 through D19. So we're in cell D20. You'll notice in cell D20 it says the answer is 501. But you'll see up here in the formula bar that you see the formula. If a formula has been typed or if a function has been selected, on the sheet you'll see the answer, 501. But in the formula bar, you'll see the formula or function, okay? So it wants us to change this to a 19 instead of 18. Good job. changed it from 501 to 532. So you typed it in wrong and you need to edit. You can just select that cell and go change the formula in the formula bar. Enter the formula. Okay, so, and we'll back up for 1 second. This is a break-even analysis. I'm not going to sit here and teach break-even analysis because that's not what this is about. You will see break-even analysis in accounting, in small business management, and probably 3 or 4 other classes before you are done in school. Okay? So, break-even analysis is basically how much do we have to make every month to where we can keep the lights on but not make profit. We're breaking even. We covered the bills, but we're not going on vacation yet. Okay? Now, a break-even analysis is simply total fixed cost divided by total variable cost. But variable cost is a percentage rate. You need to remember from your math classes that when you have a percentage, you have to kind of convert it back to numbers instead of percentages. And doing that in your formula, you see a 1 minus B10, which can help convert that numerically. So there is math involved. So the basic skills that you learned in junior high and high school are going to come back to you. If you're sitting here going, I have no idea what you're talking about, converting a percentage to a regular number, removing the percent and going back to decimals, you can do that 1 minus the thing. Okay. We're also dividing. So we're dividing total fixed cost and total variable cost, but you need to convert that percentage inside the formula to be numerical, not a percentage. Am I saying that right? Okay, so that's what it's telling us to do. We're trying to figure out dividing these two numbers, but one of them is a percent. You have to convert that back to a number. That's why this is the way it is. Also, when you're doing formulas, first, what did I say a while ago? You type the equals button, but also you're going to see the parentheses used a lot in Excel, more than we would do it if we were doing these formulas in a math class by hand, okay? We're not doing this by hand. We need to know the answer. What's a total break-even cost? However, in Excel, we overuse parentheses more than we do by hand because we need to keep everything that belongs together together. So even when you think it doesn't need it, like sits in this formula, it says parentheses, cell C21, close parentheses. You don't technically need that because it's just one cell. But we overuse the parentheses. That way we are telling Excel exactly the right way and what we need it to calculate for us. So parentheses are your best friend when it comes to formulas in Excel. Okay. So we're going to type in equals parentheses C21, close parentheses, divide, parentheses again, 1 minus B10, close your parentheses, and hit enter. And it gave us the answer of $42,819. This business needs to bring in $42,819 every single month just to keep the lights on, okay? Great. Let's keep on keeping on. Oh, wait. We need to do this one too. Oh, sorry. I'll do it again. My apologies. Good. Let's keep going. So we're going to copy a formula. It says copy the formula in cell B10 through C10 to D10. So in cell B10, which is highlighted here, the answer is $450,000, but the formula is equals sum B5 through B9. So you're telling it, if I want that exact formula, I want a progression of that formula. Let me rephrase that. I want a progression of that formula as we go along, meaning I need a similar formula in column C, D, and so on. Okay. Now, what this is doing is it's ultimately adding the numbers in this column. You're telling it to add that. And you don't want to have to type in that same formula over and over. So if you drag and drop a formula either down or to the right, it will increase the cells as it goes along. So in this case, when we drag and drop the formula, and I will in just a second, in cell C10, it won't say sum B5 and B9. It will say sum sum C5 through C9. And in column D, it'll say sum D5 through D9. So it's progressive like that until you tell it not to be. So it assumes the progression until you tell it otherwise. So you've got in a cell, in each individual cell, when you click on it and highlight it like it is, you've got this little bitty green box in the corner. You want to click, hold, and drag. That is what you're trying to do. So we're going to click, hold, and we're dragging. Well, maybe we're not dragging. So, dang it. Nope. Stop it. Your mouse is supposed to change. There we go. All right, so it's a dark green box. You see that now? So I clicked that little bitty green box in the corner, held it down, and I'm dragging it over columns C and D and letting go. And it progressively updated the formula and added the answers as appropriate in each one. Let's keep plugging away. Sorry, you guys. Build and copy a formula with an absolute reference. Absolute reference. When I said a while ago, when you're copying formulas, it will progress the cells, the letter and the number. So B5, it will go to C5. Or if you're moving it down, it'll go to B6, B7. It will progress it as it's going until you tell it not to. That is called an absolute reference. In order to do an absolute reference, and what you're doing, in this case, it's telling us it doesn't want B5 to change at all when you're copying the thing over. So B9 can change, but B5 needs to stay locked in place and not change as the formula progresses because you're going to drag and drop. Okay. So you got your cell selected in your formula bar. There's a couple of different ways. You can use the F4 key on your function keys. You can also manually type. So let me say this too. There's a couple of different ways that you might want to lock in a cell or in something in a formula. We use the $ to lock things in. The $ says lock this and don't change it. But are we wanting to lock just the column B, just cell number 5? And like, are you good with cell C5, D5, E5? Or are you good? And so the B can change, but the 5 can't. Those are two different things. So if you're locking the entire cell, if you need B5 locked, not just B and not just 5, you need B5 locked. Then you put a $ in front of the B and a $ in front of the 5. Okay? Do you see that here? And then you can hit enter. And it's going to tell us to go to our next step. Now, copy that through to the other cells. Come on. Come on. There we go. Copy it over. So the B and the 5 locked. And the only thing that changed, it went from B9 to C9 to D9. Okay? So no, the $ means lock this in place. Okay? Let's keep going. Enter the formula and then use the function key to make a mixed reference with the column for absolute for cell H5. Enter the formula equals $B $10 times H5. Then use the F4 key to make a mixed reference. So F4. Notice when you did the F4, it put the $sign in front of the H and in front of the 5. You see that? Okay. We're going to hit enter. So now our answer is 8,767. We click that cell again so that it's highlighted, and we're going to copy it. We want to copy the formula all the way through B18 here. So these blank ones, we're going to copy that formula down. So get that green box in the corner, hold it down, and drag it down, and let go. Type in, wait a minute. I did that. Let's go back. Type equal in cell B14. B10. F4. Type times H5. Press the F4 key again. Oh, 3 times. 2, 3. And hit enter. Then drag it. Okay. I don't know if what you... It doesn't do a good job to explain this. So it said hit the F4 key 3 times. What it did was it made H5. It was $H, $5. Then the second time it was no $H, $5. And then it switched the $sign to be in front of the H, but not the 5. So that's why it was telling us to click it 3 times. What it wanted was it wanted the H column locked, but not number 5. So it wanted the cell, as you progress through, the cell numbers to go from 6, 7, 8, 9, but to stay H. I hope that makes sense. When you're going through it yourself, make sure you're watching that cell formula as you're hitting the F4 key so you can see that progress, okay? Let's keep going. Enter the formula equals D5. Okay. Rates. In this formula, it says D5 times rates, exclamation point, D5. What rates is, because it doesn't show us that well. Rates is another sheet. So Excel, every time you have an Excel file, you open the file. It is a workbook. Inside the workbook are multiple worksheets, and they're down here at the bottom. This plus sign, we can add as many sheets as we want. Right now, we have 2 sheets. In Chapter 1, we learned how to change the names of the sheets. In this case, we're going to add a cell from the rental income sheet, which is the one we're working in, and we want to add it, we want to multiply it with a number that's actually in the rates worksheet. The answer itself, though, is going in rental income in this cell that we're working in. The answer is not going in the other worksheet. So it's taking figures from multiple sheets and adding them together in one spot. You've got to tell Excel what sheet you're pulling it from. That's what rates exclamation point is. Okay, so we're in cell E5. Okay, first thing we do is we click equals because we're typing in a formula. We click cell D5, which is right here. because that's the cell we're working in right now. We want to add the total Hilltop Getaway income or multiply. Click the multiply button. Now, we need to take the Hilltop Getaways information from the other worksheet. So we go to rates down here, just click it, and we're looking for cell D5 over here. D5, Hilltop Getaway rate. We're multiplying those two together, okay? So you see the formula D5 times rates, which is the worksheet we're in, the cell D5 from the worksheet rates. Go back to, whoops, I didn't hit enter. Let's do it again. So equals D5, move worksheets, click it there, hit enter. I did that. Did I click it wrong? Equals D5, rates, D5. Oh, multiply. I forgot my multiply. That's what I did wrong. Now that. Now enter. There we go. Got it. All right, let's keep going. All right. Rename cell B10 total revenue. So over here is the name of our cells. A1, B10, yada, yada, yada. You can change the names of those so that you can refer to them in a formula if you need to. So we're going to change it from B10 to total underlying revenue. Hit enter. Let's keep going. Now we're going to use it. Use autocomplete to enter the formula equals total revenue. So we had labeled cell B10 total revenue. So we need to copy the total revenue into this new cell. Equals total revenue right there. Double click it and see it pre-fills. Click enter. Done. Let's keep going. Click the trace precedence button. So formula auditing. How many or what is involved in the cell range that we're talking about? Trace precedence. It's a fancy way to say what's all going on this formula, okay? Now, formulas tab, auditing, formula auditing group. You see that here? Trace precedence. I want you to see over here that it started with the line and an arrow, and it's sitting here going, here's everything involved in the formula that's in this cell, okay? Remove the color coding and arrows on the worksheet. So back to formula auditing. Here was trace precedence. Remove the arrows. We don't need those anymore. Thanks for that information. Just wanted to know. Now take the arrows off. That's what that's for. Okay? Display the formula and not the results. So the answer is 31%. The formula is right here. But instead of showing 31%, we want to show the formula. Show formula. Right there, it showed it to us. All right, let's keep going. Use the median function. Now, remember from junior high math class, we started learning mean, medians, and modes. All of those are math functions that are built into Excel. Median is the middle number. So you've got this whole range of numbers. We need to know where the middle is. What's the middle? Okay. So we're going to use the median function. Formula tab, function library, which is the title of our group right here. Click more functions, statistical, median, they're alphabetical. You know, min, median, and mode, min being the lowest, median, the middle. So what we're talking about in We want to drag cells D5 through D19. D5, click, hold, and drag through D19. And let go. Then click OK. What is the middle number of all of those numbers when you put them in order? When you put them in order, numerically, what's the middle point? Use the count function. How many do we have in this column? How many customers do we have total? There's a count function, and we can do that. All right. In this cell, how many number of properties do we have? So it's going to count for us. Formulas tab, function library, AutoSum. Select count numbers. Drag to select D5 through D19. And click enter. It's not adding the numbers together. It's counting the cells that have numbers in them. Not adding the numbers together. Counting the cells that have numbers in them. Regardless of what the numbers are, it's counting those cells. All right. So we got 15. Let's keep going. Today and now. If you need a timestamp, a date or a timestamp in an Excel formula to show exactly when you're doing something, you use the today and now functions. Okay? So right now we need today. So we can do equal today and then do an open and close parentheses and hit enter. And it shows the date today. Next, we want to know a timestamp. So we need both day and time. So now we're going to do equals now, open and close parentheses. Today with a timestamp on it. Let's keep going. Payment function. When we're talking about payments, this is, so you're buying a bicycle, a really fancy one. It's $4,800. It's a fancy bicycle, okay? It's $4,800. They're going to give you 2 years to pay, and your interest is 4.5%. You need to make monthly payments. How much will those monthly payments be? That's what we're trying to figure out based on all of that. So it's not just 4,800 divided by 24, 12 months in a year, 2 years, but it's all of that with a 4.5% interest figured into it. Okay. So payment function. There is a payment function in here that you can insert. Click insert function. It's this FX button right here, FX. Click that. In the search, we're going to type payment and hit enter. PMT is what we're looking for. Go to PMT and click OK. Now, what's our rate? 4.5%. We don't type in 4.5%. We click the cell that percentage is listed. Okay? Now, NPR, the total number of payments for the loan. Remember, I said we're doing monthly payments for 2 years. How much is that? So we know that we have 2 years to pay. So NPR. So we're going to go B5, which is 2 years, times 12. Why? 12 months in a year, times 12. In the PV box, PV is present value, the total amount that future payments are worth now. Okay? PV, click cell B4. That bike today is worth $4,800. In the type box, enter 1. And click OK. Whoops, I left something out. Let's try again. Payment. B6. B6 divided by 12. I didn't do that. That's what I did wrong. Divided by 12. Why? It's 4.5% in an interest rate loan. I don't care if it's a car loan or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just a little fun tidbit for you. If you have a 4.5% interest, you divide that by 12. That's your interest every single month, totaling 4.5% for the year. So it's an annual percentage rate. So APR, annual percentage rate. In order to get your monthly payments, you have to divide that by 12 because the interest is not 4.5% a month. It's 4.5% over the course of a year. So you divide that by 12. Okay, fun fact. NPER. Click cell B5 times 12, which we said this a while ago, times 12. It's 2 years, but it's 12 months in a year. So you have to multiply that times 12. Present value is 4,800. So we click cell B4, type 1. I think I got it all right this time. There we go. Our monthly payment for this bicycle for 2 years will be $210 a month. So now you know. All right, let's keep going. Build an if function. Okay. If function. Let me explain for a second. Let's say you've got a spreadsheet that shows bicycle loans, just like the one we just did. But you're the bank. You're the lender lending on bicycles, okay? That's what your job is. And you need to know which ones have monthly payments over $200 and which ones have monthly payments under $200. But you've got 400 customers to go through. There's no way that you've got the time to be able to meet to one by one look through, 200 column or 200 cells to find those and identify them. You can do an if function, meaning you can type a formula that says if it's more than $200, type this word. If it's less than $200, type this word. Or if it's more than $200, make it red. If it's less than $200, make it green. That is called an if. If it's this, then do that. So think if function, okay? We'll do one if function now. Enter an if function in cell B31. Click the logical drop-down, formulas tab, function library, logical. Select if. All right, so we have an if argument. In the logical test box, type B30 is greater than or equal to 25%. Value if true, type goal met. Value if not true, goal unmet. All right, so our goal is 25% or better. Of what, it doesn't matter. But the goal was 25% or better. Goal met, goal unmet. It will type those words out for us. So we click OK, and it said goal met. Now, it's not very handy to do an if function if you only need it in one box. But if you need it in 30 boxes, it's much faster to type an if function for something like this. And it will pre-fill the words goal met, goal not met in every cell needed. And it will answer that question very quickly. Use the XLOOKUP. Formulas tab, function library, lookup and reference. It's alphabetical, so XLOOKUP. Type A4 in the lookup value. In the lookup array, click Rates tab and select H4 through H14. Okay. In Return Array, click the Rates tab again and select G4 through G14. G4, G14. Use F4. Oh, wait. Hang on, time out. I said I did something wrong. Lookup array. Rates. H4 through H14. And then press F4. Whoops, wrong one. F4. Return array. Click the Rates tab again, and you want to do G4 through G14. And then press F4 again. And click OK. Let's see if I did it right that time. Oh, I missed something. Let's go to Guide Me. Click the Formulas tab. Look up Reference. XLOOKUP. Type A4. In the lookup array, click Rates. And then highlight H4 through H14. Press F4. And you'll notice it put the dollar signs in front of every single one of them. If you're doing this and you did the F4 key, but it only put the dollar signs in front of like H14, go back and put the dollar sign in front of each one of them in the lookup array. I did this a while ago, and that was my issue. It took me a while to figure it out. I needed dollar signs in front of H4 and H14, so $4 signs total, and it was only naturally putting 2. So as you're going through this, if that becomes an issue and you're like, I know I'm doing it right, I think double check where your dollar signs are, and you might have to manually type them because I did a while ago. Okay, click the return array. Click Rates. Highlight G4 through G14. Got it. Press F4. And it put the dollar sign in all 4. Click Next. Click OK. Excellent. Let's keep going. Enter formula in cell C4 using the XLOOKUP function to find the cost for the item names listed in the rate sheet. Okay. So, click Formulas, Lookup and Reference, XLOOKUP. In the lookup value, type A4. In the lookup array, click the rate sheet, and we want to go H4 through H14. And then press F4. Whoops. Look, it only put the dollar sign in front of H and 14, but not H and 4. I think that is going to bite me in the butt because it needs both. So make sure that you're doing the same thing there, okay? In return array, you want G4 through G14. You want rates. All right, it did it fine for me that time. So it gave me all $4 signs as needed. And then click OK. Bam, we got it. Let's keep going. Display results using VLOOKUP. Let's watch this. Show me.
To enter the VLOOKUP function, click the cell where you want to enter the function. Click the Formulas tab, and then click the Lookup and Reference button, Function Library Group. Select VLOOKUP from the function list. The Function Arguments dialog box opens. Click the Lookup Value text box and click a cell in the first column of the cell range or table. Click the Table Array Argument text box and select the appropriate cell range. Click the Call Index Num argument text box and type the column number. Count from the left. Enter false in the range lookup text box to find exact matches only. Click OK to close the function's arguments dialog box.
All right. Now, lookup and reference. We're going to go find VLOOKUP. In the lookup value, we need A4. In the table array, select the rates worksheet. J4 through L14. All right. So it's that whole table. Click F4. Index number 3. Type false. And click OK. Bam, we got it. All right, so text join. In this table over here, we have location and state. So city and state, but they're in two separate cells. They're in two separate columns. And let's say you want it to say Eagan, Minnesota, all in one cell with a comma in the middle or something, like a normal city and state. You can join them together by typing the text join. So click the text button, find text join. In the delimiter, hit the space bar, ignore empty. In text 1, select cell A5. In text 2, select cell C5. So A5, Wilderness Suite, state. So in this one, we're wanting what's the name of the rental property and what state is it in. And we want a space bar between the two. Okay? That's what the delimiter is telling it. Got it? Fingers crossed. Let's keep going. All right, concat. Formulas tab, function library, text, concat. In text 1, you want B5. So the location. In text 2, you want a spacebar for the delimiter. In text 3, you want D5. So city, space, state. Oh, I did it wrong. B5. comma, then space. Oh, I didn't do, whoops. Let's do that again. Formulas, text, concat. So in the directions, I didn't click the hint yet. In the directions, it says join the cells B5 and D5 to look like Egan, comma, 20. So it's telling us comma and a space because there's a space between comma and 20. So what that actually means is we need in the first text box, we need B5. In the next one, it's comma space. In the third one, it's D5, I think. Yes. And you'll notice over here where our answer went, it's Egan, comma, space 20, which is what we wanted. So sum if. Sum if says add them together only if they have a G in this. So I need you to add these numbers together, but only for the G ones. And then I need you to add all these numbers together again, but only for the S ones. Do you see? So this is vacation rental property. We have group vacationers and solo vacationers, okay? Group, solo. So I need you to add totals for G's and S's, groups and solos. So you can do the sum if, add them if they've got this thing, okay? All right, so formulas, math and trig. Sum if. All right. In the range argument box, it should say B4 through B38, and then F4. I think it should be the other. I think if you'll notice when I did my F4 key again, it did not give me dollar signs in front of all of them, just the last one, too. I'm going to do it this first time and go ahead and manually add the dollar signs in front of B and 4. I think that's the way I need to do it. If not, I'll do it again. In criteria, argument, type G in the sum range. Select C4 through C38. Press F4. Again, I think it's going to make me, we'll see. We'll see. We're wanting the total of column C of the number of days. We need the number of days everybody stayed there, but just if they traveled in a group. We're not talking about the solo individuals yet. I think I did that right. Okay, if your F4 function key is not putting the dollar signs on all four, keep an eye on that, okay? Sum product. Let's do this. Open the function argument. Ooh, all right. Formula, math and trig, sum product. Right here. Array 1, select C4 through C14. And array 2, D4 through D14. And then click OK. Great. All right, let's keep, oh, there's a pause and practice. If there is ever a chapter for you to do all the pause and practices, it's this one. I'm not going to do the pause and practice today, but if there was ever a chapter to do all the pauses and practices, it's this one, okay? I think some of these formulas and functions become challenging. Here's your chapter summary. Don't get overwhelmed with this. I think chapters 1 and 2 in Excel lay the groundwork for the others. But if you are already not familiar with Excel or already struggling, whatever, I want you to go back and do chapters 1 and 2 again for yourself because chapters 3 and 4 become a lot. And you've got to really have a good handle on understanding why formulas are written in the way that they are, or understanding, remembering, when we were in high school, we talked about order of operations, and it was, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That's how I learned it. So parentheses, exponents, multiplication, my dear, division, addition, subtraction. You did all of that in a certain order. Excel, you have to do Excel the same way. It's still a mathematical software, even when it doesn't look as mathematical as your algebra class does. Um, but that order of operations is important. And so you've got to have a good handle on that and a good handle of how formulas are typed in and what you need to tell Excel to do to come up with the right answer. So I would encourage you to go back and rework chapters 1 and 2. Do all of the pause and practice any of the extra projects that pop up that, I'm not grading. Um, it it is in your best interest to take some extra time to do that in chapters 1 and 2 in Excel. I hope that you're using these videos and pausing and working with me. That's how we would work in the classroom if we were together. If you have any questions, if you need my help, if it's still not working, like my function F4 key, didn't put the dollar signs everywhere it was supposed to, you saw that on screen. If you've got one that you keep getting wrong every single time, please tell me so we can work through it and I'll help you. We'll get on Zoom and we'll screen share. You can come by the office, whatever. We can find a time to meet. So holler if you need me. Everybody have a good day and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.